online health coach and founder of the group, the Healthy Women of Faith. Say hello in the comments if you're watching this in the Healthy Women of Faith group, or say hello if you're watching this on my personal profile. Once again, I am Alicia, and I am the founder of the Healthy Women of Faith. I'm excited to bring you a free class today. We're going to talk about 3 ways that I have cultivated consistency into my health goals. And these are things that I teach my clients to do and help them to do this as well. So really excited. It's really great to be here with you today. I'm really excited to share these things with you. So if you are watching, let me know in the comments if you can hear me. That way I know this is working online. I'm going to make sure that we are live in the group and on my personal profile. But again, I'm really excited to be sharing 3 ways that you can work to change the way you think about consistency and how you can cultivate and practice consistency with your health goals. And these things I have really found are what help you to know if you what you're doing should be something that you should be working on to be consistent even. So I'm excited to share that today. I see Stacy's watching. Hey, Stacy. Yeah, if you guys hop on, let me know who's watching. I'm just going to let everyone in the group know that we're live so that anyone who wanted to see this class, they can watch. So if you are new to the Healthy Women of Faith group, first of all, welcome. And if you're not in the group, but you're curious what it's all about, the Healthy Women of Faith group is a free community that I created for those women or women who want to follow Jesus and be empowered by the Word of God and the Holy Spirit to understand our true identity, worth, and value in who God says we are as His daughters. That's the first and foremost reason that I have this group. We're doing this to be spiritually and physically more healthy, because what I teach and what I really believe is that God desires for us to be healthier in spirit, soul, and body. That's our whole being, all of us. And I believe God designed us to live a life that's thriving, not just surviving. And a lot of us as women, I'm not saying men don't, but women, we struggle with this, I think, in a lot more depth as far as like emotionally. We have some emotions that get in the way. So again, not that men can't benefit from this necessarily, but I'm a woman, so I can relate. So that's why I created this group. And we're in this group, and what I want to provide in this group or in my content, women with both spiritual and health nutrition education of foundational healthy habits in order to get free from food addictions, cravings, emotional eating, get rid of quick fix mentalities or self-sabotage mindsets. I want to help you learn to manage your stress and take time for your self-care so you can work on your health, so that you can lose weight and build healthy long-term lifestyles, and to help you inspire you to transform your health as a whole for the rest of your life. So that is what I'm doing here on Facebook or on Instagram or what platform I'm on. This is what God has called me to. And so if you're not in our free group, there's a lot of free resources I offer, these classes, lots of other things. And so I'd love for you to come join us. We're over at facebook.com/groups/healthy women of faith. All right, I see Beth is watching. Again, if you guys are watching, and let me know you can hear me. Put me in the comments if you're excited to learn about these ways that you can be more consistent and to kind of change your way of thinking about consistency when it comes to your health goals. So I'm going to get right into it. The first way to think about consistency. So if you have a pen and paper, grab it. If you don't, you're going to want to take some notes, because this is really going to help you think about consistency probably in a different way than maybe you have before. These are things that I've really had to look at my life and realize these are the things that I've changed. And a lot of it comes down to the way that you think. And the word cultivated means that it's a process, right? That you've worked to do something. You plant corn, and it takes a while for the seeds to grow, and you have to water it, and you have to what's the word, harvest it, all those things. And so cultivated is really a word I like because consistency is not a linear thing. Consistency is something that we're always building, okay? So I want to get into my first way of thinking about consistency. And the definition, if you just look up the word consistency, it says conformity in the application of something, conforming to a way, or the application, applying something to our lives, typically that which is necessary for the sake of logic, accuracy, or fairness, meaning it makes sense, right? You should do this thing because it's logical, right? So I thought that was interesting. And so just something to think about. And this is my personal opinion when it comes to building consistency with habits in life, is that you have to think about consistency this way. And I would write this down. Consistency in and of itself is not a habit. Consistency is a mindset. I'm going to say that one more time. Consistency in and of itself is not a habit. It's not the actual habit. Consistency is a mindset. It's what you're building to become a habit, right? And so consistency is, it makes sense. It makes sense for you to work towards progress in whatever area of your life that you're working on. We're talking about our spiritual and our physical health in this instance. So the first way of thinking that you can cultivate consistency in your life is consistency is a big picture mindset. Consistency is a big picture mindset. In other words, when you look at what you're trying to be consistent at, like your health goals, one thing to consider with this is, why are those your goals? Why are you working towards those goals? Right? Usually when we sit down, oftentimes we don't do this, is we decide, okay, I'm going to eat healthier, I'm going to lose weight, and we just go, right? We don't really consider, well, why is that my goal? And I have an example here I want to share with you. So that's the first thing. Under this consistency is a bigger picture mindset. Why are those your goals? And a few weeks ago, if you didn't see it, I wasn't able to stream it onto my personal profile, so it's only in the Facebook group. If you want to come watch it, we really need to remember to consider the bigger why, especially as believers, why we are getting healthier, right? Ultimately, we have a bigger, I would say everybody has a bigger purpose, bigger reason why we should be getting healthier. But as believers, we have access to that knowledge. And, so I would encourage you to go back and watch that class, because I lay it all out in a more depth, in more depth. So remember, those of you who've watched it already, remember to consider your bigger why. When you decide to set a health goal or a spiritual goal, maybe it's reading the word more. Why is that your goal? Right? Does it make sense? Is it logical? And that's part of the second thing. So A, why is that your goal? Remember your bigger why. B, is it logical? Does it make sense to you to actually have this goal to work on your consistency? Is it realistic? Is it attainable? One thing I think we don't really consider when we decide that we're going to do something new is consider the cost. There are a lot of factors that affect consistency, and we don't really sit down and think about this. And so time, money, energy, the season of life you're in, what health problems you have, maybe you have food struggles or cravings, all of these factors are going to be a part of how you work towards consistency with your health goals. So, for instance, let's look at the big picture. Let's say that we set a goal to lose 20 pounds in a certain amount of time. We're just going to go with physical things right now. What does that look like? That's a big picture. Have you considered how much time it's going to take you to eat healthier, how much money it's going to take you to eat healthier, to exercise, all the factors that go into that, whether you need to hire somebody to help you with your nutrition, teach you some things about it, food at the grocery store. Think about the season of life that you're in. Do you have a lot of little kids running around? Are you going to need to be a little more flexible with life? Do you have health problems? Are you going to have to be on a certain type of nutrition plan because of whatever, diabetic or health problems? And then throw in food problems. You're addicted to sugar, or you really love food. These are all factors we have to consider when we decide to set out and be consistent on eating healthier to lose weight, right? And so if we say, okay, the big picture is this big goal that I want to reach is losing 20 pounds, maybe in, I'll be honest, a lot of people have unreasonable expectations on the amount of time it takes to lose weight, because it didn't take you 6 months to gain all of that weight. It's probably not gonna take 6 months to get it off. So that's just one thing that I teach my clients too, is what is a realistic expectation, a realistic goal for you to lose 20 pounds, considering all these other factors, right? So that's the first thing. That's your big picture. So we got to start there, right? We got to look at, okay, well, what should I be doing? And what is realistic for me, right? Why am I doing it? That's part of this thinking process, is that consistency is a big picture mindset. Why is that my goal? Make sure I have the right reason why I'm doing this, which ultimately we should allow the Lord to be helping us figure this out too, right? And then is it logical? Does it make sense with the time of life that I'm in, with the money that I have, the time that I have, the season of life, my health problems? All these things have to be considered before you really set out to be consistent in something, okay? So that's the first thing. If this makes sense, that you have to realize that consistency is a big picture mindset, put a 1 in the comments and just let me know. Does this make sense? You understand you have to know what the big picture is, but you also have to know that the big picture makes sense for you. Okay, so put a 1 in the comments if that makes sense. I see some me's from Kayla, Meg. Great to see you ladies watching. Okay, so my second way of thinking that is going to help you cultivate consistency is consistency requires weekly detailed planning. Consistency requires weekly detailed planning. So hear me out. We've thought about, let's say you have a reasonable goal to work towards. You know what all of your factors are. You know what needs to happen, and it's a reasonable thing. This is what I do with my clients when we first meet. We talk about what is realistic for you. With your life situation, with your health problems, with the money that you have, the time that you have, all of these things. And we sit down and we look at, how to help you build consistency and have a detailed plan for each week. Okay. So here's the thing. I know some of us don't really enjoy boundaries. I listened to a podcast by Lisa Harper today, and I'll put it in our Facebook group. Because it was so good, because she was talking about how, spiritually we either look at boundaries as the glass is half full, or hopefully the other way, where God has aligned us in a certain way. He's created parameters around us because he's created us in a certain way. He's our loving Father. And so he's created us to produce fruit in our lives. And if we don't stay within the boundaries that God has designed for us, we're going to not be producing the fruit that we should, right? We're not going to be in a deep relationship with him, enjoying that relationship with him, if we don't understand why the boundaries are set. He's a loving parent, right? Any parent, or person who takes care of children, you set boundaries for people or for your children because it is good for them, right? And so we have to think about planning and putting together what I like to call my plan for success as a good boundary to help you be successful, to help you work towards consistency. So really, what this comes down to is asking yourself, what are the steps you need to accomplish the goal to win? Okay, consider playing a sport, right? I'm not a huge sports fan, but I've thought a lot about this, especially since I am a health coach. So I think about this coaching perspective a lot. So consider playing a sport. If you ever played a sport in your life, what does your coach do to help your team win? right? You practice, you practice the plays. The coach gives you the play by play so that you know how to win the game, right? It's the same thing with life. We really have to get into this mentality. If we're going to be successful, if we're going to win, honestly, in any of our area of our life, spiritually, physically, we have to have some direction. We have to have some plan. We can't just willy-nilly jump into something without considering the cost of it, if that's even the right thing for you, which is where the Lord can come in and help us with this too. So how do we do this? Consistency requires weekly detailed planning. So what you need to do is, especially when it comes to, we'll just go back to our losing weight instance, you got to work backwards from the big picture to the daily steps that need to happen. So we have to break it down, right? We have to look at, okay, this big picture makes sense. It's logical. It's reasonable. It's realistic, that kind of thing. Let's break it down now. And so we want to lose weight. Well, what are some of the things we need to do to lose weight? Well, one thing that most people know to do is we have to eat more vegetables. We should be eating more vegetables. We need more fiber in our diet. So how do we do this? Well, we have to plan to have more veggies in your home or with you at work. So what does that require? Well, that requires you to meal plan and go to the grocery store, right? So on a weekly basis, this is what I do anyways. You could do it however you want, if you want to do it every few days, or if you want to do it monthly, so you only have to go grocery shopping once, that kind of thing. Although if you're wanting to eat more veggies, you're probably going to have to do it more like weekly because it will go bad unless you're using frozen things. So this is how we break it down, right? Is your weekly plan for success is that you need to plan a time to meal plan and you need to plan a time to go to the grocery store so that you know you have veggies in your everyday life, right? Does this make sense to everybody? Put a 2 in the comments if this makes sense. That you have to have a weekly plan of success, a detailed weekly plan of success, I should say. That's number 2. Put number 2 in the comments if that makes sense. I see some 1s. Perfect. From the previous one. So yeah, put some 2s in the comments if this makes sense. So the first way of thinking that you need to cultivate consistency is that you have to have consistency is a big picture mindset. What are your goals? Why are those your goals? Are they logical? Second thing to cultivate consistency requires weekly detailed planning. Break it down from the big picture. Think about it from playing a sport. Your coach helps you know what the play-by-play is. What's the plan? When we hit this is what we're going to do. That kind of thing. Okay, that's the second thing. If that makes sense, put a 2 in the comments. Third thing and last thing, third way that you can cultivate consistency in your life is that, again, we're breaking this down from big picture to weekly. What's next? Daily. So the third thing is consistency demands daily flexibility. Yeah, consistency demands daily flexibility. That's the third thing. I use this, I call it my secret weapon, secret tool sometimes. This way of thinking when it comes to making sure that when it comes to daily doing the things that we need to do, for instance, to lose weight, we're talking about we should eat more veggies, right? We do have to allow flexibility in our life. Why? Because life is going to happen to us, even though we have a plan, right? We're probably, some women are moms, some women are career women. You have things that happen in life, right? This world is just falling apart sometimes. And so something is going to hit you. That's just a known fact in life, right? So I like to use something called structured flexibility. This is part of my third thing. Consistency demands daily flexibility. It means that you're committing to the plan, but you allow flexibility into your life so that you can still be consistent. So, and again, this helps us because life is going to happen. Again, if you think about a coach's perspective, we're thinking about playing a game. they have a play-by-play. They know what the play is. I'm not a huge football fan, but I was looking up just some things about football. And, they have a play, and sometimes the quarterback, I guess, will tap his hat. And that means before they start I don't know what it's called, huddle, before they throw the ball. I'm horrible sports, so don't judge me. Um, but he'll tap his hat to tell the team, hey, we're going to change plays. Like they might have had a play and he taps and they're doing a different play. He has a sign. Everybody knows what the play is. Okay. That's going to happen in life. So a coach is going to help you overcome obstacles and struggles that will get in your way. And so again, this is one of the ways that I help clients with their health journey, staying on track, is using this method or this way of thinking of structured flexibility. So what happens when, for instance, you want to eat more veggies in a daily manner? You have the plan, you've got the veggies. Something comes up and someone invites you to go out to eat for dinner. Right? This happens a lot, especially if you struggle with food. You probably have your favorite restaurants. And so someone's like, let's go out to eat or let's have pizza. And you're like, ooh, I had a plan to eat this tonight. And I was going to have my veggies and my protein, my water, and all the things that I know I need to have to be healthy. What do I do? And sometimes we just panic and we think, dang it, I don't think I can stay on track because I know I'm going to want pizza. I know I'm going to want this. I know I'm going to want that. Well, some of that comes from changing mindsets about food, right? Which that's what I teach as well. But really, the consistency of it is knowing, okay, I need to stay on plan tonight. What am I going to do? And so having that flexibility of not wanting to say no to go out to eat, which sometimes that is a boundary you need to set. Maybe you need to set a boundary of I'm only going out to eat once a week. And if that's, the second time someone's asked you to go out to eat, you might just need to say no, right? So that you can stay on plan. But let's say you're like, no, I really want to hang out with these people. I haven't talked to them in a while. I want to go eat dinner with them. How can you stay on plan? The play-by-play has changed, right? Well, what you do is you just plan the meal that you had for tonight and do it tomorrow. And when you go to the restaurant, you make sure you get some veggies in there, right? Simple fix, right? But sometimes we just don't really have that play-by-play in our head necessarily. We don't know how to do that. We just panic and we're like, oh, I'm not gonna be able to do it. And then we spiral into, oh, I didn't eat enough veggies today. I'm just worthless. I can't do this, blah, 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 blah. And we just spiral down, right, in our mindset. And there's ways to overcome this, right? But this is just a tactical way of thinking about if you wanted to add more veggies in, that you could switch things around and allow flexibility into your life. That's just one example. There's a lot more, obviously. But, this is what a coach helps you do when you're playing a sport, right? It gives you a plan of attack. I was reading too that, like with the quarterback, the coach can talk to him through their mics, whatever, up to a certain point of time, so that the coach can communicate with the quarterback, like, okay, hey, we're going to do this instead. Try this instead. So he's kind of in the quarterback's ear, who's the leader of the pack, if you will, who's taking everybody in the game to win. The coach is helping give the plan of attack, is what I like to call it, to show them how to win the game. But the plays just might change, right? And that's okay. That's how we allow flexibility, right? Life is just not going to be linear. Our health journey is just not going to be linear, but we can still be consistent. We just might have to change the play around. Okay? So one thing we have to remember in this third way to cultivate consistency, or think about it when it comes to our daily flexibility, is that we need to learn to control the controllables. There's a lot more that we can control than we think, right? But if we don't have the big picture just right, if it's not logical, if it doesn't make sense, then when it comes to, okay, I'm going to eat healthier, but we don't have a weekly plan to get more veggies in because I didn't go to the grocery store yet, and I don't have any meal plans and I don't have any recipes, then getting to the daily and eating more veggies is going to be impossible, right? So there's this big picture weekly and daily plan that really has to happen in order for you to really be consistent. Okay, does this make sense? Put a number 3 in the comments if that makes sense. Okay. So I hope this helps. I hope the analogy of a coach coaching a team when it comes to winning a game, you really have to think about your health journey or any habit you're trying to build that way, right? And there's obviously probably other examples besides this, but I just get into this mentality because that's what I do as a health coach, is help you figure out what are the plays. Is this goal realistic for you? What are all the factors that are a part of this big picture? And then part of that big picture too is thinking about this from a football game perspective. I think that's the only game I can think of. And I'm talking about American football. If you've never watched American football, then you may not know what I'm talking about. But there's always a coach in the stands too, right? The coach on the field is always talking into his mic, and he's talking to probably somebody who's a coach, also a coach, but he's at a higher vantage point. And I was thinking about this from a spiritual perspective in that, um, I like to always know what my role in life is. Anyone else? And so when it comes to teaching women how to eat healthier and how to get healthier spiritually and physically, we always have to remember that the Lord is the bigger coach, right? He's up at the top. He can see the advantage point. He's the one talking to us, and specifically for my clients and I. The Lord is the one that's always communicating either with me, or obviously the Holy Spirit communicates with you as well if you're in a relationship with Him. And so He's the bigger coach telling us, I don't think that play is going to work. We're going to have to switch things around. I think also this idea of a coach, if you're on a team, you hopefully, obviously men are flawed, but hopefully you trust your coach enough that when he says we're doing this instead, you're like, all right, he knows what he knows. He knows that we're trying to win, right? So you trust him. Same with God, same with me as a health coach. There's this process of, or anybody you're working with to help you on your health, personal trainers, nutritionists, anything. People are given gifts and talents to help us with all areas of our lives. It just so happens that, nutritionists, health coaches, excuse me, this is what we do, is we help you figure out the play by play when it comes to eating healthier, when it comes to exercise, when it comes to, I truly believe in the way God is asking me to help women is through our spiritual health, which is drawing closer to the Lord, deepening our relationship with Him by studying the Word more, and, getting rid of food addictions, those kinds of things. They come from a mindset. They come from a mindset. They come from a place of hurt, of pain. And we really have to allow the Lord to come in to help us change the way we think about ourselves and the way we see food, right? That's one of the biggest struggles I see in this group, and I've seen out there. So again, just to recap, remember the first thing is consistency is a big picture mindset. You have to have the big picture, right? And I'll be honest too, sometimes the big picture isn't always clear right away, right? Even for me, if I were to work with clients, I need to know a lot of factors. I need to know what your health history is. I need to know lots of different things. What is your job? All those kinds of things. I ask all those questions. The second thing is consistency requires weekly detailed planning. Okay, and this is something I teach so that you can do it confidently on your own. But I come alongside and help you learn this in the beginning. I help you with your play-by-plays. Then the third thing is consistency demands daily flexibility. I help you figure out, oh, the plan changed. Oh, the play-by-play is different. I help you not panic. That's the first thing you have to do, is don't panic, don't stress, use some flexibility, and teach you how to apply that to your life, right? So I hope that's been helpful. If any of those resonate with you, just put me in the comments. And also, if you want me to help you evaluate where you're at with your health goals and make sure it is the right plan for you, the big picture makes sense, is this the best thing for you, and help you see if you're in a good place mentally to reach your goals, and I definitely would love to talk to you. So put me in the comments. We can chat about it so that you can actually reach consistency with these goals. Because sometimes, and I'll be real honest, it takes a little bit of trial and error too. sometimes a lot of trial and error and not giving up. But consistency is a mindset that you really have to cultivate. And I hope these 3 things have been really helpful. All right. So thanks to the ladies who are watching. Thanks for all the comments. Katie, I see you. Meg, I see you. Love Lisa. Yeah, I met her in person before and she's so sweet. Yeah, I love Lisa Harper. Highly recommend her new podcast, Back Porch Theology on Access More. I listen to it a lot. So anyways, if this has been helpful for you, please share this video either with someone you know, or please invite them to the Healthy Women of Faith group. This is what I teach in this group. I'm always trying to come up with ways to help you start going in the right direction, thinking about things from a biblical perspective too, not just a physical standpoint, and helping you see what's reasonable and what's not. Because there's a lot of information out there, right? And it can be really confusing, really frustrating, as well as just dealing with your body sometimes can be really frustrating, right? So I love to serve. I love to help. I'd love to just chat with you with your goals and make sure you're headed in the right direction. So put me in the comments. And this is all I have for today. I will see you guys next time. You guys all have a great day. Bye.